Okay, here's the book. It's called How to Practice the Way of a Meaningful Life. His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Translated and edited by Jeffrey Hopkins, Ph.D. That's awfully pretentious in and of itself. They have to point that right out on the cover that he has a Ph.D. So I looked to see if maybe it told you that the money produced by buying this book would go directly to the Tibetan monks or something, maybe to the church in Tibet or not, but it doesn't say anything like that. So obviously they don't mind giving money to corporations instead of to people that might use it for divine purposes. Essentially the book has several chapters that say introduction, the need for peace and kindness. That's basically how the whole book operates. I don't even need to mention the other chapters because throughout 75% of the fucking book it tells you that just be a nice person. That's it. That's how you achieve Buddhahood, is that you're a nice guy and you accumulate positive karma, which will ensure that you have a higher place in heaven. That if you're a nice person, you'll accumulate good karma, which will in turn put you in a higher state of being in the next life. And when you're happier and you feel more good, you'll be in a better position to meditate further and reach Buddhahood. So it's basically like neo-Christianity. Back before Christianity became this watered-down pagan crap, it didn't used to say that. But nowadays, it's just be a good person, God will love you, and you can go to heaven and, enjoy parties and bitches. So that's basically what he's saying here, is that, it's in your best interest to be a nice person because then you'll have a better place in life in the afterlife. How do you know that? That assumes that there's an afterlife. The whole point of Buddhism was that being nice had realistic consequences. And one of the examples he gives, I don't remember the page, but he says if you have a noisy, rude neighbor, and if you're an irritable person, you're always going to be miserable knowing you have that neighbor. It doesn't matter if you move or something. If you take in the negative, you're going to be miserable in your day-to-day life, and it's not going to matter whether or not people are asshole back to you. Which is true to some extent, but then he acts like it's all on you. That if, you're simply nice and, passive about it, that people won't be dicks to you, and that naturally it'll avert negativity from you. That's bullshit. Look at me. I'm just making videos on YouTube, and that fucking Amsterdam 78, comes and false flags my videos and is dedicated to trying to get my videos deleted and get me banned. What did I do to him? I don't even remember where he's from. I don't remember if it was Revlef or Soviet Empire. I'm doing my own thing here, so that means he went out of his way to come trampling through to YouTube to come and troll me and to try to, irritate me and undermine my freedom of speech when I'm not even anywhere near him. So it's like if I moved and then that guy followed me, he drove his car and followed me just to come and make me miserable. What am I supposed to do about that? How am I supposed to be passive about that? That makes no sense. So it contradicts what he says here. And it just goes on like that. How you're supposed to, because it also says you don't know who is a Buddha Vista. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but essentially you don't know who is and who isn't going to become a Buddha, so you should be nice to everybody and respect them just in case. Why? If they're the ones close to Buddhahood, then they should know how to handle you, right? So all this keeps saying is to be a submissive dog. It just keeps saying to, take life as you will, and to just, let things be and be. Why? Because I do agree with Maoist Rebel that this comes from a very feudal perspective of totalitarianism, where you're just supposed to take your lumps in life and deal with it. And that's a very dangerous ideology. I see it all the fucking time on the internet with all these moderators and shit. And that's where evil people flourish. They flourish in a world where people don't fight back, where they don't react negatively and, crack their ribs open when they, come at you. They're fucking evil. They're animals, and you need to be aware of that. I understand that if you want to make positive change, you have to be a positive person. You should be courteous to people. You should be honest. You should respect their rights. But that's not to suggest that you should be nice. There's a difference. It's like that motivational poster. Lawful good doesn't mean lawful nice. You can be a good person without being passive, without being forgiving, without being, just lovey-dovey. This isn't a fucking Disney movie. And I don't think that, as thick as this book is, it reiterate that enough. He says a lot of shit, but he doesn't take the time to separate being good from being nice. And that, to me, is just dangerous. It's ignorant, and it's nefarious. It has to be done by design. Because how is it that you can have a book this big, and you cannot point out that you can be a good person that, can be an asshole sometimes. You can be a jerk ass, and you should be sometimes. The original Buddha said that. The original Buddha said that karma comes in many different forms, and that there are several layers of existence beyond this one. And that's why he invented the karma wheel, because Buddhism descends from Hinduism. And there are sometimes the good guys don't get along. The lesser gods don't like the higher up gods, because the higher up gods they see as Hinduists. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but they're jealous of them, and they wage war against them because they have nice things, and the lesser gods are more about righteousness and fury, and they're upset that there is evil in the world. This sounds very akin to the story of the fallen angels and of Lucifer. So, you have to take all these things into consideration, and the Dalai Lama doesn't do that. The Dalai Lama just says, hey, be a good person, don't cheat people, and, hold the door for them and stuff, and you'll be granted a better place in heaven. That is counterproductive, and that doesn't help anyone reach enlightenment. If the whole point of enlightenment is to escape this, it is to escape the enslavement of karma, where you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to ascend or descend. And that's something else he fails to point out for being the reincarnation of Buddha, is that, it's not about the karma. It's about separation from that. It's about rejecting the natural progress of higher and lower, like a roller coaster ride against your soul. So essentially, original Buddhism was like spiritual nihilism. Nietzsche would have made a better Buddhist than the fucking Dalai Lama, but it's not going to point that out there, because it's not productive to what he wants. It's not part of his scheme to get back into power and to be this feudal overlord that is akin to the Pope, but even more authoritarian. The Dalai Lama makes the Vatican look like chumps in comparison. And, that's why Marx warned against religion. It's not so much that religion is bad in and of itself. It isn't that, there couldn't be spiritual aspects to the world that we're not paying attention to. He never denied the existence of a God. He denied the existence of a need for an authority to declare what is God and to tell you how to worship God. So, you have to be very careful with organized religion and even unorganized religion. It quickly degenerates into nationalism, fascism, and all these other isms that are contrary to the human spirit and to human rights. So, that's my review of the Dalai Lama's book, and I would not suggest you pick it up. It's just a puke fest of, be a nice guy, and if someone bullies you, put on a shit grin and take it like a bitch. So, you can pirate it if you want to, but I would not endorse this. And of course, it says New York Times bestseller. Is like every book in fucking existence a New York Times bestseller? Does that even mean anything? So, that's my review.